Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's tech walkthrough, I'm going to go over the Vestax Spin. This is one of my all-time favorite portable DJ controllers. This thing is fully functional. It's got so many built-in features that even some more expensive, larger controllers don't have. So let's get into it. Just here, you've got left and right deck represented. These are some of the best jog wheels I've ever experienced on a small, affordable device. These can go head to head as far as accuracy with the DJ Ergo K that I reviewed a couple of videos ago. Really great technology and build from Vestax. Basically, there's no click. It just senses the pressure of your hand and activates the on-off. And you can adjust the sensitivity for that just here on the back. So you got a min and a max on both the left and right deck, and you can kind of dial those in to get the perfect pressure sensitivity for your scratch response. So that's really handy and functional. So back here on the face of the unit, you've got a left and right volume. These are nice long throw faders, so you get a lot of fine adjustment when you're doing those long fades if you're doing progressive house or a genre that lends itself to nice slow mixing. You've got your crossfader, and the crossfader is a little stiff. I've owned maybe 3 or 4 of these units over the course of my DJ career, and this one needs a little bit of loosening up. But once you get it nice and loose, the scratch response is excellent. I wouldn't say it's competition grade, but it approaches that level. I've been able to crab and do some of the more advanced scratching techniques using this fader, so you can get away with it if this is your only controller. You've got your 3 transport buttons: play, you can set a cue, and then this is return to cue. Whenever I map out my controller, I always map this one to instant cue play, so I can instantly go back to that first cue point and trigger that. Play and cue are functioning as normal in the software. And then up here, you've got a scratch on and off button. I pretty much remap all of this. That's the excellent thing about these MIDI controllers, is you can dial them in and map them any way you wish inside your given software of choice. And I use Virtual DJ, and I've just gone to town mapping this. I'm just so excited with what I've been able to do. You've got your pitch faders, and in my last video, I went over why I was moving on from the Hercules DJ Control Instinct, because you weren't able to get a fine adjustment on the return to 0 on your pitch, and also making adjustments negative or positive were just not as exact and precise as you'd want if you're doing minute adjustments in your mix or precise mixes using tempo. These pitch faders are medium sized, but you can get some nice detailed fine tuned adjustments when you're doing beat matching or pitching effects. And you've got a sync button, minus and positive for the pitch adjustment if you just want to kind of nudge it to get it locked in. And then you've got 3 buttons here that could be mapped. As a default, they're in Virtual DJ. These are mapped to in and out on the loop, auto loop, which just turns the loop on and off, and then effects. But I remap those for my own purposes. So those are able to be remapped. And then another really cool feature is what they've done with the EQ. Usually you have like a knob for EQ, but what I found with this really ingenious design is you're able to do bass drops and also treble movements. This almost mimics a toggle switch for bass on and off, because you're able to do that movement so precisely. And then it's got a center click here in the middle, so it helps you return to 0 on that knob. So that's a really nice feature and design from Vestax with this controller. I can't think of another company that does this feature as far as the EQ. Vestax is pretty much the only company that I know. So another thing that I've done, I like to do a lot of filtering when I'm mixing. And in the past, I was mapping both left and right to this mic pitch button and then just using this to do the filters, but you're not able to filter each deck independently. So what I did is I took the mid and mapped the filter to this mid EQ button. So center 0 up would be a high pass filter. Only the high frequencies are passing, so you'd go up and up into the treble. And then below 0 is the low pass filter, so you're only getting those lows down to the bass. So I get that independent for left and right. And so that pretty much sorted out the lack of a dedicated filter button on this controller. You know, the mid, I'd say on the EQ is not something I touch very much anyway, so it was easy to remap that. And then I've got the low and the treble mapped as usual. And then in the center, you've got this really cool kind of gamepad style up, down, left, right button. And I've mapped those to different effects and, you know, beat juggling. And you've got your auto mix, record, and mic, and those are all remapped as far as my setup goes. And then I've got these mapped to a flanger effect. So 0 is 0 effect, and then as you go up, it gets more wet, you know, up to 100%. So this thing is really versatile in what it can allow you to do with a little bit of imagination. And the build quality is pretty solid. One thing to watch out for is these buttons here are made of a really low-grade plastic. So over time, with constant mashing, they're gonna break down. It's inevitable. I've owned several of these units. One I bought brand new, and just over the course of maybe a couple years, these things always break down the same way. They stop clicking, they stop mashing, and eventually stop responding. So this doesn't take a high grade of punishment like the Pioneer DDJ Ergo K Limited that I have. So you've got to be a little bit more gentle with these effects buttons. So that's the only thing to watch out for. But this is a highly affordable unit. I picked this up for around 40 bucks on eBay, so you can find them secondhand. Another big function that I love about this, because I do a podcast, I need the ability to run a microphone in through the software, so I can record my voice along with the mix and also put some effects that I do when I'm doing my podcast for Fresh. And the incredible thing about this mixer, it is, as you can see here, it's got a microphone input right here on the front. That's a 1/4-inch jack microphone in with a separate volume control, and the way that Vestax configured the sound card, that card is routed in through the software, and that is not always true with controllers. I mean, there are controllers that are 3-4 times the price of this that don't do that. Their sound cards usually just run the mic in the front and through the output in the back. It doesn't allow you to route that input into the software, but this, for such an affordable controller, it has that really valuable feature of being able to run that mic through the software and do those mixes, so that if you're on the road, you need something portable, then you're able to do your podcast and whatnot without having any kind of advanced routing through other sound cards and whatnot. So this is just a really affordable and well thought through unit, especially for the price. So let's take a quick look again at the back. And on the back, this is the only output. It's an RCA left and right stereo output. As I said before, you've got your touch sensitivity adjustment, and then it has also, you can use an adapter with this. You don't need to, it's fully bus powered. I've never had any issues with losing power or losing functionality or audio just powering it through the USB. So you don't really ever need that adapter. So that's it. You just got the stereo left and right RCA and your DC adapter input, and then your USB port right there. Again, this is fully bus powered. And then on the front of the unit here, you've also got a headphone output. And as you can see, I've got to use a jack here to do the transition from 1/4-inch, which is the standard. It's the same jack as on for the mic, the 1/4-inch. And so I've used an adapter to go down to 1/8 inch for my headphones, and then an independent volume control for the headphone. And you're pretty much good to go. As I said, you get to know your software, you find out the features that you need, and then you can map these MIDI controllers and get the best out of your software with some forethought and patience. You can go through and map. So this is the Vestax Spin, the first generation, a fantastic controller, highly recommended. Hit up eBay, see if you can grab one and have some fun with it at an affordable price. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop me a comment if you want any additional details on this controller. Stay tuned, I've got a new video coming each weekend, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.